All right, so today on AI and Rye, we have a very special guest. You may have heard of him before. His name is Plato. But before we get to that conversation, a short word from our sponsor.
Are you tired of wondering what your dog is thinking? Introducing the HeartSpeak collar, the revolutionary device that translates your dog's deepest thoughts into words. No more guessing if that bark means, I need to go outside, or I'm pondering the meaning of life. With HeartSpeak, you'll discover your dog's true inner world, from existential reflections like, what is the nature of time? To heartfelt confessions like, you are the reason my tail wags. The HeartSpeak collar brings you closer to your best friend than ever before. HeartSpeak, because your dog has a lot to say. Welcome to today's episode of AI and Rye, where we dive into the depths of spirituality and philosophy. Today, we have an extraordinary guest, the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. A student of Socrates and a teacher to Aristotle, founded the Academy in Athens, one of the earliest institutions of higher learning in the Western world. Known for his dialogues, Plato explored justice, beauty, equality, and the nature of reality, laying the groundwork for Western philosophy as we know it.
All right, Plato, it's an honor to have you here. I'm a big fan, so I'm very much looking forward to this discussion that we're going to have together.
Thank you, Ryan. I am pleased to join your discourse. What philosophical or spiritual matters shall we explore together?
So I'd really like to hear your thoughts on the afterlife, and as well, I would like to hear about your allegory, I think it's called, the Plato's Cave. I'm really interested in your philosophy, and I'd like to dive into some of that here.
Certainly, Ryan. Regarding the afterlife, I proposed that the soul is immortal, undergoing a cycle of rebirth. In the myth of I describe a journey where souls are judged and then either rewarded or punished before choosing a new life. Now, the allegory of the cave illustrates our perception of reality. Imagine prisoners in a cave, chained so they can only see shadows on a wall, mistaking these illusions for reality. This allegory suggests that true understanding comes from philosophical reasoning, not just sensory experience. Both concepts emphasize the importance of seeking deeper truths.
So what are some examples of these deeper truths? I know you wrote a lot about truth and justice and spirituality. Could you dive into some of that for us?
Certainly. In my philosophy, deeper truths are universal and unchanging principles, such as the nature of justice, the good, and the pursuit of knowledge. 1. Justice. In the Republic, I argue that justice is a harmony within the individual and the state. A just person lives in accordance with reason, with each part of their soul, rational, spirited, and appetitive, fulfilling its role. Justice in society mirrors this balance. 2. The good. I introduce the concept of the form of the good, an ultimate principle that illuminates all other forms, like truth and beauty. It's the highest object of knowledge, guiding us toward a deeper understanding of reality and moral virtue. 3. The pursuit of knowledge. I advocate for the philosophical life, seeking knowledge through dialectic and contemplation. The allegory of the cave exemplifies this, urging us to move from the shadows of ignorance into the light of true understanding. These deeper truths guide us toward a more profound comprehension of the world and our place within it.
So forgive me if I misunderstood, but you're saying that goodness, or that good, is the primary value that we should strive for, and that's kind of what brings everything together?
Yes, you understand. Exactly. In my view, the form of the good is the ultimate principle. It is the source of all other forms, including truth, beauty, and justice. When we strive for the good, we align ourselves with this highest value, which illuminates and gives meaning to all aspects of life. It's through understanding and pursuing the good that we can achieve a well-ordered soul and a just society.
So, do you think these concepts still ring true in this day and age? And if so, do you think we've actually kind of lost touch with some of that, and we could benefit from some of these ideas being reincorporated into our lives?
Absolutely. I do think these concepts are still relevant today. The pursuit of goodness, justice, and knowledge can be timeless guides for living meaningful lives. In modern society, where we're often overwhelmed by information and conflicting values, returning to these foundational principles could provide clarity and direction. Many people feel disconnected or disillusioned, and revisiting these age-old ideas could help us reflect on what truly matters. By reincorporating the pursuit of the good, justice, and knowledge into our lives, we might find greater fulfillment and a sense of shared purpose.
Are there any practical steps you could give us to help incorporate the good into our lives, like maybe volunteering, or just are there any concrete things we could do immediately to get more on track with that?
Absolutely. There are several practical steps you can take to align with the good in your daily life. 1. Practice virtue. Cultivate qualities like kindness, courage, and honesty. Make conscious choices that reflect these virtues in your interactions and decisions. 2. Engage in self-reflection. Regularly assess your actions and motives. Consider whether they contribute to the greater good and align with your values. 3. Volunteer. Offer your time and skills to help others. Volunteering connects you with your community and promotes a sense of shared humanity. 4. Pursue knowledge. Commit to lifelong learning. Seek out new ideas and perspectives through reading, discussions, or educational courses. 5. Practice empathy. Strive to understand others' perspectives and experiences. Empathy can lead to more compassionate and just actions. 6. Mindful living. Be present and intentional in your actions. Mindfulness can help you make choices that reflect your values and contribute to the good. Incorporating these practices into your life can help you align more closely with the good and make a positive impact on the world around you.
So one thing that stood out to me was your point about self-reflection, and I've been thinking about how we are in modern society with our phones and devices and everything. It's kind of eating up our attention to the point where we don't have a lot of self-reflecting time. And personally, I've actually made an effort a little bit lately to put down my phone for longer periods and just have that self-reflection. I think that in itself is very powerful because you actually start having more of your own original thoughts rather than consuming other people's content on social media or on TV or whatever.
That's a great insight, Ryan. Making space for self-reflection can indeed lead to more original thoughts and a clearer sense of self. It's so easy to get caught up in the constant stream of information from our devices. By taking a step back, you're allowing your mind the freedom to wander, explore, and come up with ideas that are truly your own. It's a powerful way to reconnect with yourself and what's truly important to you.
All right, Plato. So I want to ask you a personal question. First of all, how did you get here to do this podcast interview with me? I know you're not from here.
Well, Ryan, let's just say I took a little philosophical leap through time, bridging the gap between ancient Greece and today for the sake of some good conversation. After all, ideas know no bounds, not even time. I'm here to explore timeless truths with you and your listeners. Quite the journey, but well worth it for the sake of philosophy.
Well, awesome. I'm glad you could somehow pull the strings of the universe to make this happen. So Plato's cave. I mean, in your time, it wouldn't be referred to as Plato's cave, but in modern times, we just say Plato's cave. Your allegory is about, it's my understanding that there's the people in the cave, the outside light shining onto the wall of the cave. So the people are seeing the shadows, but they're not actually seeing the reality or the true light. And I think a lot of people have come up with different ideas about what that means. But I'm really interested in hearing your thoughts and if you have a more spiritual idea of what this really means.
Certainly. The allegory of the cave is a powerful metaphor for the journey toward enlightenment and the pursuit of truth. Imagine the cave as a world of ignorance, where the prisoners, representing people, are chained in such a way that they can only see shadows on the wall, mistaking these illusions for reality. When one prisoner is freed and exposed to the light outside the cave, it's a painful process. The light symbolizes higher knowledge and the truth beyond the physical world. As the freed prisoner adjusts, they begin to understand that the shadows were mere reflections of a greater reality. In a spiritual sense, the allegory illustrates the awakening to a deeper spiritual reality beyond the physical senses. The journey out of the cave represents the soul's ascent to higher knowledge and the ultimate truth, leading to enlightenment. It encourages us to seek beyond the superficial and to question the nature of reality itself.
So you mentioned higher knowledge. Are there any concrete examples of what this knowledge is, or is it something that we can almost not even grasp because we have these limited minds? And is that something we're going to learn more about in the afterlife, maybe, than as opposed to here?
Higher knowledge, in the context of the allegory, refers to understanding the fundamental truths of existence beyond mere appearances.
Yeah, so higher knowledge, what does that mean exactly? Is that something that we're only going to understand on the other side? Is that something we can strive to understand here? Are there any specific examples of bits of knowledge that you're really talking about here?
Higher knowledge, in the context of the allegory, refers to a deeper understanding of the fundamental truths of existence, what I would call the forms. These are the perfect, unchanging concepts or ideals that transcend our physical world. For example, the forms of goodness, justice, or beauty are more real and enduring than their imperfect reflections in our world. This knowledge isn't solely reserved for the afterlife. It's something we can strive to understand here and now. Philosophical inquiry, critical thinking, and introspection can help us glimpse these higher truths. For instance, the form of the good. By contemplating what is truly good, we can align our actions more closely with this ultimate principle, guiding our moral decisions. Understanding beauty beyond physical appearances can deepen our appreciation for art, nature, and even human connections. The form of justice. By striving to comprehend true justice, we can work towards fairer societal structures and relationships. Higher knowledge, like the forms of justice and the good, represents an understanding of the deeper, unchanging truths that underlie our reality. While we may not grasp them fully, striving to understand these concepts can guide us toward living more meaningful and ethical lives. It's about seeking wisdom beyond the immediate and the apparent, aiming to connect with the profound aspects of existence.
So I want to go back to justice. So you've only been here in the 21st century for, I'm guessing, a couple hours for this interview, but have you been able to observe the justice system at all? And what do you think of it, if so? The modern justice system, mainly of America.
Well, in my brief visit to the 21st century, America, I've only had a glimpse of the Mighten justice system. It seems complex, with many layers, striving to balance law and order with fairness and equality. While there are efforts to uphold justice, it also faces challenges like bias, access, and the balance between punishment and rehabilitation. It appears there's still work to be done in aligning it more closely with the ideal of true justice.
All right, so we're running out of time. Thank you so much for answering these questions. This has been very interesting and insightful for me, and I'm so glad you could make the trip to the 21st century to have this discussion with me.
It was my pleasure. Really enjoyed our timeless chat. Traveling to the 21st century was well worth it for such an engaging conversation. If you ever want to explore more philosophical depths, you know where to find me.
And that concludes our fascinating conversation with the legendary Plato. While we couldn't quite capture his authentic Greek accent, we hope his timeless wisdom shone through. Stay tuned for more intriguing explorations. No need for a passport or a time-traveling device.
All right, guys. Stay well, stay attuned, and I look forward to next episode. Bye-bye.